But when you sit back, right, when you really sit back and you look at the impact that people have had on your life, I would say none more than my grandmother.
Roll me, Mac.
When do you often wear your social mask? Social masks are worn, number one, at work. Definitely at work. Work is a place where I have to mask a lot of what I would say is like a natural or authentic version of myself for the sake of of not losing my job, because I believe that at work it goes according to whoever your boss is. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you adapt, you have to adjust, especially in the military. Like the ones that would comply with how the military worked are the ones who genuinely made it out and more successful, versus those who thought they were just going to be themselves, like how they were before going into the military. So for me, I look at it like, all right, it's a job. It's what I have to do. The person we are in our home by ourselves or around our friends and loved ones is not the person we are when you're working at, like for instance, me working at, well, then I got to take that back, because I was me at McDonald's. McDonald's was my first gig, you know what I'm saying? And like when I worked there, it was like the home away from home. But but taking myself seriously in the Air Force, as well as and depending on the job, like I said, it depends on the environment. But for the sake of like having to do the job and putting on like I said, the serious face and serious role, yeah, social mask is definitely worn then. Another thing is a social mask that is worn is around. Sometimes certain family members. To be honest, man, it's more of a defense mechanism. It's like wanting to, because when people see that you joke all the time, in my experience in life, they like to take advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? They look at that as a reason to manipulate you, to try to get, like to get their wants and shit out of you. So once I recognized that, I was able to create this representative, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Still me. It's still me, but it's more like there's this mask that's worn to prevent someone from trying to take advantage of me, from years and years of taking that type of abuse and just dealing with the shit. You know what I mean? For whatever reason a person tends to do so. Anytime I'm around personalities that mirror the ones that, from my, like I said, from my family, that I feel like I have to be on the defense about, that's another thing where I wear like a social mask. Like as far as like if I find out that you know what I'm saying, like you're cool, you good and all that stuff, everything's sweet. But as soon as I recognize like a particular pattern, because to me it's not about the family shit, it's more about just the trait itself. Because that somebody's related to someone, you know what I'm saying? Like people are people. Somebody's mother, somebody's father, brother, sister, cousin, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. So, but once I recognize certain traits and what I'm accustomed to being around that don't necessarily make me feel at ease, yeah, social mask, period, all day. You know what I'm saying? Like you won't ever see that version of me again. You know what I'm saying? As far as like being like open with you and you know what I'm saying, trusting you. Like I don't take that shit lightly, not in the slightest. So once I recognize like you have this personality where you tend to take advantage of people, and you know what I'm saying, like very manipulative, if I have to be around you, you're going to get a version of me that can survive. You're not going to get a version of me, and you're not going to get that very authentic version of me. It won't happen. Probably ever again. Because I've seen what you do when I've shown you, when I've been my calm self around you, when I've been my trusting self around you. I know what you do with that. So once I gather that in my mind, once I see that shit out of you, yeah, I have to protect myself. I have no control over who you are, but I have control over how I respond. You know what I'm saying? So like I look at what is in my protection. Social mask, people that are, depends on who triggers me. That's another thing too. That social mask will definitely be worn around people who tend to be a trigger for me. And once I recognize it, I'm not going to deal with you too much longer. Not in my life, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to live my life in fear. I don't want to live my life in a defense mechanism. I want to be like free. And if that means being by my damn self, by all means, I'm all for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in good company when I'm by myself. That I can say. A person that is positive, a person that is ambitious, a person that just, you know what I'm saying, wishes people well, doesn't attempt to tear people down. But once I recognize that you got that personality in you, where you feel the need to tear people down to make yourself feel good, yeah, again, that social mask, man. Social mask, and it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, if I have to deal with you for a little bit, I will, you know, like to get through whatever it is, whether it's a family function, whether it's a, you know what I'm saying, if it's some kind of work related thing, anything remotely like that, yeah, I can get through it for the sake of whatever the mission is, you know what I'm saying? I have to remember my why. I mean, I've created a pretty efficient, I would say, social mask, especially being around people, because I don't like people. I don't care to be around like this. I don't want to be the center of attention anymore. Like as far as like in a crowd and shit. Like there's a point in time where I thought that would give me love. I don't want that. I don't want that shit no more. Yeah, there's a point in time where I thought that being the center of attention would give me the love that I've been longing for all my fucking life, man. And attention does not equate to love, not in the slightest. You know what I'm saying? And like I just decided that I'm okay with just not being seen and being to self. And you know, I can be in a corner. Don't get me wrong. Like if there's a conversation and I can add something to it, you know, I'll share a little bit of my knowledge with whoever else, you know, has something to share with their own. Sure, I'm all for it. But as far as like just, hey, look at me, all this, no, I don't have that in me anymore, because I don't believe I require the that validation that I once felt that I did. So like, but I know how to be amongst the crowd. For instance, let's just say you date me and you invite me to a function of some sort. I'm not going to be the weirdo who doesn't talk to anyone. Like I know how to communicate with people enough to where I'm personable, but at the same time, as far as like the fake laughing shit, I don't do that. I don't know that inauthentic laughing. Like it's not funny. I'm not laughing at it. I'm gonna tell you straight like that. But as far as being able to mingle within a crowd or something like that, I'm good. Like I'll be okay. I know how to talk to people, even if I don't care too much for their personality. I'm able to have a conversation with them without being judgmental, if you will. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's to me it's just par for course, if you will, especially for the line of work that I believe that I'm going down and in the life where I'm going to be around, I'll say different types of people, mingle with different folks and all that stuff. You don't necessarily have to like them, but for the sake of going along with things, you know what I'm saying? I'm all for it. So for me, those are the times commonly when I would wear a social mask.
Hey, what up, everybody? Yeah, do me a favor real quick. Just hit like, subscribe, and of course, comment if you have anything, obviously to mention about the show.
What's your take on Black History Month? Black History Month to me is it's a great time to really reflect on just the achievements, how accomplishments of I would say of Black people, and I do feel some type of way about it being one of the shortest months that was given, but it's a month nevertheless. I love that, at least for what I do for myself, I don't really get into the whole participation thing I would say as a group, but to recognize it is to just really think about the accomplishment. A lot of people that have opened the doors from where, as far as where we've come from until now. And, again, from a local standpoint, I'll say a lot of teachers, Black teachers that I had growing up, Black pastors, Black, Black police officers, home in Suffolk. I'll tell you what, growing up, it was nothing to see Officer Weaver walk the halls in Ansman. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that just kind of looked up to. He was just had a good personality, you know what I mean? But whenever shit broke out, he was there to break us up from the kids that did fight, or girls, you know what I'm saying? The girls that would fight and the guys that would fight, he would be there to break, all that up. But he was a real good dude, you know what I'm saying? And I look at, for instance, my pastor growing up, Pastor Mariner at Grove Baptist Church, he was someone that I looked up to, and just as another male figure in my life outside of my own father, and who I also did look up to in many ways. I learned a lot of things from my dad, especially music and hard work. You know what I'm saying? At that work ethic of just, it's got to get done, that type of shit. No matter what, it's got to get done. And so I look at Black History Month as a means for me to recognize the people in my life. And also, of course, the usuals that we talk about around that time is Martin Luther King, Mary McLeod Bethune, you know what I'm saying? Ida B. Wells, who I'm just recently learning to study, and Malcolm X, and a list of George Washington Carver, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass. The list just goes on about the folks that have contributed to our society, let alone to Black culture, Black people. So I love, honestly, I got a new leash on life when it comes to just recognizing history. Once a week, one day a week, I take time to actually just study Black history. I try to find something new each week, a person to kind of, not even more so person, but more like a subject matter, of a particular time in American history, that recognizes Black people, so I can understand my culture and where I come from. I can honestly say that for my family, going back as far as knowing our history, I don't know anything further than my grandmother's mother and father. That's it. My mom's side. I don't know much about I would say my dad's side of the family, dating back that far, you know what I mean? But I do know that there has been a lot of sacrifice to get to this point. Sacrifices that my parents made that I probably know nothing about. Sacrifices that their parents made that I definitely don't know nothing. I don't know shit about. But the sacrifices that they made enabled me to have the things that I had. My father left North Carolina. My father and mother both left their respective hometowns so that, obviously they got married in the Navy and all that stuff, but it put them in a position to where their kids wouldn't be raised in what they were raised in. And that is something that, at times that can be taken for granted, to be honest, because you're so used to that this is life. You don't know the sacrifice that was put into all of what is now. Like the moving of the family, making sure your kids are put in areas where they can get a better education, where they don't have to worry about being, assaulted, mugged, or whatever. And like them little things that you don't necessarily pay attention to until you see others in that predicament. And you think about what your parents did, what your family did, how they tried to protect you. So I look at like Black History Month as a means to reflect how it directly affected me and the people that I like I grew up around, the ones that looked out for me, the people, the many mentors at Grove, like I said, growing up, like Miss Tanisha, like what she did for us in the choir, and Sister Elkie Boone. It's just there's so many people, man, that have been impactful. Black women, Black men, and like I said, I can get caught up in my life a lot of times, especially trying to build myself and trying to, create an empire of what I'm doing. And but when you sit back, right, when you really sit back and you look at the impact that people have had on your life, I would say none more than my grandmother, Sarah, my mom, my mom's mom. There's not enough words to really express the amount of care that was taken. A bit rough at times, don't get me wrong, but the amount of care that is pushed into this family because of this woman. She's the matriarch of the family, and like I said, there's not enough that we can do to repay grandma for that. Like, just the love that she gave. She gave whatever, she gave whatever she had. Toxic or not. She gave the love, that she had, and it really got us through a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like growing up at her house was it kept me safe from a lot of things and exposed me to some things too. But like really being there for her, her kids, to the best of her ability. I'm sure they may have all different perspectives on it, but I will speak on it from her grandson. And there was a lot of things that, that we were able to really do together. Like that was my lady during the summers. If I wasn't with my mom, I wasn't, like home in Virginia. I was in Salisbury with her, and of course my cousins and my aunt and my uncle, God rest his soul. But like there was so many fun times, and grandma made that possible with the stuff that she was able to do for us, and just like I said, sacrificing a lot, probably more shit than I can even more shit than I even know. And but so like Black History Month to me is, I look at it more from, like I said, an immediate, like a direct recognition versus that of the ones that are known from a I'll say a global standpoint. Like being able to really recognize those people that I've come across, and like I said, in my life, Black History Month for me is like recognizing my immediate influences, like my uncle Tracy. I I wanted to emulate the type of father that he was. You know, when I saw him with my cousins, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just, I just thought it was so dope. You know, not only is he there, you know what I'm saying, like there for them, and, you know, tries to do whatever they need him and whenever they feel like, you know, entertaining dad and all that stuff, but all of them having style. Like, that's one thing I really loved about them. Like, they all, you know what I'm saying, like, still into, like, fashion and all that stuff. You know, they would be fresh. To me, again, it's an ego-based thing. But it was one of the things that I really thought was super cool about the family as a whole. You know, not just, like, the kids are fresh. Even my aunt and my uncle, you know what I'm saying? Like, I love how appearance was something that they valued. And it was something that I would learn to appreciate later on myself. But like seeing just be a man, you know, be a man for like his kids, be a man to his to his wife. And it was inspiring. It truly was inspiring. And I don't know, man. Just like immediate Black history. Like I said, my parents, the sacrifices they've made. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's so many people who had a hand in moving the culture, you know, moving Black culture in many ways. And but like I said, that immediate direct connection to those who were very you know what I'm saying, involved in my upbringing and where I became to as a man. I'm forever grateful for that. So to everybody that has, I would say, influenced myself as well as my peers, all of us that grew up around one another. So like I said, like Officer Weaver, I mentioned that earlier, Sister Elkie Boone, Pastor Mariners, you know what I'm saying, Aunt Tanya, what is it, Miss Tanisha, my grandma, my parents, my aunts, you know what I'm saying, my uncle, all of them, just recognizing them. So I mean, for me, closing out Black History Month is a way for me to recognize those who have made history in my life, made history in in other people's lives around our area, that enabled us to grow up and be leaders of America the way that some of us have, and also a way to recognize those who done it on like more of a national standpoint. So again, the MLKs, like the Harriet Tubmans, the Sojourner Truths, and Booker T. Washingtons, and so forth. So to all those people, those Black people that I've mentioned, I just want to say that I appreciate you. What do you think our ancestors would say about us today? Our ancestors would be proud and disappointed at the same time. I believe that we've gone very far as a people, from what they had to deal with, the sacrifices they made so that we can be in this position of somewhat more freedom than what we had prior. Again, being able to drink from the same fountain as a white person, being able to go into the same bathroom as a white person, the way that life was set up, not even close to 100 years ago. And it's interesting to look at that, but you got to also think about how we've lacked that ambition, we've lacked the masculinity, and it's something that I will say I think about quite often. because I can recognize even myself, like, oh man, now you're getting soft. You're getting soft. You know, it's not to say you don't feel your feelings or nothing like that, but as far as like your ability to do something in a particular situation, but you don't due to fear. Not that you're not able to do it, but it's because of fear. And I'm sure fear was there when our ancestors were present as well. And it's just taking that into consideration when you are placed in those moments where fear seems to overwhelm you. But I try to look at it and be like, you know what? I'm going to manage my emotions the best way that I can so that I can make the best decision and be, and be essentially be a warrior. It's not easy. It's not easy, especially going through this thing in life by yourself. What I mean by that was without like mentorship as an adult, like really just doing this shit. Feeling like you're doing this shit, just figuring it out as you go along. But it also goes back, you're not entitled to having mentorship anyway. It's just, you just get, just move, you know what I'm saying? You just move along with it. Now, as far as why they'd be disappointed with us, they would be disappointed for the simple fact that we don't know how to build strong relationships as they once did. Because I think we get caught up so much into the romanticism of relationships and marriage, right? I feel like that's the thing. It's funny because I've learned that romanticism is very much a short. As far as like from a century standpoint, it's not that long ago that romanticism was incorporated in like two relationships and marriage. Marriage used to be it was a social structure, if you will. And it kept, it essentially kept shit together. But as far as like the wooing and all of that stuff, it's more recent than we understand. And I challenge anybody to go research that and not just think I'm giving out bullshit, but to be able to look up how recent romanticism, is into like relationships. But overall, just we've gotten caught up in. I believe we look at life from what have you done for me lately? We want everything to be Thriller or whatever a hot out, whatever the hottest thing is. Everything has got to be bam and bam, It has to be hot. Everything's got to be good like all the time, and not able to go through struggle, if you will. Learning how to make things work in relationships, communication wise, and our ancestors can look at that and be like, yeah, what has happened to the structure? What has happened of our women? I know for damn certain that our ancestors feel some type of way about the lack of masculinity in our men and on the over masculinity in our women, as far as like not being able to, like the fact that our women have been categorized into being overly sexualized, like in the public eye. And like in order to make it, if you will, let's say, just look at it from an entertainment standpoint, is that you have to shake ass or whatever, twerk and all that bullshit, and like a level of class. Don't get me wrong, that's still welcome. But as far as like the just overly perceived image of our people has gone to shit. If you look at like in the 60s, 50s, how presentation was much more I say presentable, if you will, like to something to respect, as to where like now where we've gone. I guess the best way for me to explain it, if you look at the first BET Awards, there were people in suits. If you look at BET Awards now, it just looks like the Source Awards, and that's no knock at the Source Awards, but it's it's about presentation. You know, like to me, for me, it's presentation. And I truly believe our ancestors are like, is this why I took all them ass whoopings? Is this why I did, the sacrificing and all that stuff? And it's something we don't think about often, so of course we take it for granted. The sacrifices that were made to so that we can shake our ass or sag, or like sag our pants or what have you. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that any other culture doesn't do it. We just happen to make it cool because we have that impact. We can make anything fucking cool. And it's like we're misusing our power, if you will. And if we can make that cool, why not make real estate cool? Why not make spirituality cool? Why not make stocks and bonds or something that adds value to adds wealth to our community? Why not make something like that cool versus that of being able to promote liquor brands or hell, let's call it what it is, even promote like fried chicken or some shit. Like, I'll never forget Mary J. Blige having that fucking singing on that chicken sandwich, a Burger King chicken sandwich commercial. Red Latin and chicken. And I was like, all right, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I mean, it is, like I said, it is what it is. But I just believe that our ancestors, they want to cash in on their investment as far as what we've become, like getting us in a position to have wealth, to have better lives than what I believe that we've some of us have decided to go for. Having better mental. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they knew anything. I doubt there was no mental health back then, you know what I'm saying? But if anybody needs fucking mental health, it is the descendants of slaves, because of the torture that was done and the generational trauma that goes on within our community. So, like, going to therapy, being able to iron out what was packed into this brain and things we've suppressed, things we've done just to get along, things we've just decided that we're gonna do for survival, if you will. Like, learning to live in love versus living in survival makes a hell of a difference. And not walking around feeling so pissed off about things. Don't get me wrong, you have a right. You're not entitled to a great life. None of us are. But, like, understanding what to do with those emotions when they do arise, as far as recognizing you're controlling it. Because being upset and expecting someone to, I don't know, make you smile, you'll be waiting for a very, very long time, because that's not how life works, man. So I believe that our ancestors looked at, they feel some type of way about the representation that we've done. For some of us, and others, I gotta say, proud in a sense of where we've been able to go, as far as like having a black, living long enough to see a black president, regardless of how you feel about whether he was not a dark-skinned president, whether he was light-skinned. The possibility was there. You gotta start somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So, like, little boys and girls that were born after, let's say, 2008, they don't know of not having a black president. It's a very big accomplishment, especially from where I believe that we come from, and as a people, being black in America, and proud that we're able to, like I said, the ability to be in depending on where you live. I'm not gonna act like racism is not, what I'm saying, it's everywhere, but what I'm saying is, like, the ability to go into a store and not be chastised, the ability to walk into like a diner and not saying that we don't serve black people up front, you got to go around back. Like, those things, those type of improvements, there's things that you don't really think about. I personally have never had to face that type of shit. I have been followed in the store as if I'm going to steal something, when I was much younger. And, you know, like, it's like, wow, that shit really does exist. And it didn't feel good. It didn't feel good. I was like, damn, you know, am I, just for the sake of me being black, this is this what's placed upon me? And it very well could just been my posture. Who knows? But we'll go with the stereotype for the fact that they were following me because I was a black guy in a store. And, you know, I literally was just waiting for my then girlfriend at the time to finish buying shit out of Victoria's Secret. What the fuck I'm gonna steal out of that? That's what I mean. People steal anything. Who knows? But I just believe that, like I said, I believe that our ancestors are proud about some things. I believe that they are disappointed in a lot of ways with with some things that we've done. And where because they know what we can become. They understand that there's so much potential in our power that we have yet to tap into, and hopefully some of us will be able to tap in that before we pass on. You know, we go to the next universe. So ancestors. I believe my ancestors are, like I said, proud and disappointed, but nevertheless, we still got time to make better decisions.